Hi everyone, Melissa here. I'm back with another video. And this week I'm really excited about this topic because I want to talk about something that I hear a lot about. There's so much information out there on this topic, and it's really just, I want to simplify it. I just want to make everything straight to the point and simple. So the topic of this week's video is ignoring the 3D. We hear that phrase a lot in the manifesting community. And if you're not sure what 3D is, another way to think about the 3D is just your physical reality. So in a lot of manifesting resources, you might hear someone, a coach, a teacher, a book, whatever, you might hear someone say, ignore what's in front of you, ignore what's in front of you. I want to debunk that. And I want to tell you what I do, which is not ignoring it, which gets results. So before we get into it, I am available for one-on-one coaching, and I have some courses and affirmation bundles for specific subject matter. If you're trying to manifest specific things, you can find all that in the link will be in the description of this video. Okay, so I was really deliberate in the title of this video. So it's don't ignore the 3D, observe, accept, decide, repeat. That's literally the formula to manifest anything. I mean, there are so many techniques, and there's all these methods out there, and this is how you do it, and this is the simple way to do it. But it truly is just observing what's in front of you, what you're experiencing in your 3D, what you're seeing in your reality, not ignoring it, accepting what you see. Okay, this is it. I see it. Maybe I don't like it. Maybe I do like it, but whatever, I'm going to accept that this is what I see in front of me. Then decide what you prefer. If you like what you see, then just keep deciding, yeah, this is great. This is what's happening. This is what's true for me. This is my reality. If not, that's your moment to start a new mental diet. That's your moment to change your story. That's your moment to decree a new truth, okay? And then you just repeat that. Observe, accept, decide, repeat. Observe, accept, decide, repeat. Let's use some examples. And I want to get into why I don't agree when people tell you to ignore the 3D. I think that's wrong. I think that's misinformation. I think it's misleading. And I think that is what keeps a lot of people stuck. Because by ignoring something, by denying that it's in front of you, you're actually acknowledging its existence. And when you continue to ignore something, you're still acknowledging that it's there. You're keeping it in your awareness. And we know the foundation to all of our reality is whatever we focus on, we get more of. So if you're focusing on ignoring something, you haven't cleared up the fact in your mind that this thing exists, that this thing is. So your focus remains on, this is a truth in my reality, even if you're ignoring it. If you're accepting it and then rejecting it, accepting it and then renouncing it, accepting it and then deciding a new, better truth, that's how you get something to disappear from your experience, not by ignoring it, because ignoring it is still keeping it alive in your consciousness. Ignoring it is still acknowledging the truth that it exists, but I'm not gonna look at it. I'm not gonna think about it, but it's there. It's still there. Do you see the difference? It's a little bit subtle, but it's a disservice when someone tells you ignore it, don't pay attention to it. What's the first thing you're going to do? You're going to think about it more. When someone tells you don't think about something, what do? You think about it. Don't think about a pink elephant. What just popped in your head? A pink elephant. Hey, there's a pink elephant right in front of you, but just ignore it. Well, it's still there. It's still there, but it's still there. We'll just ignore it, but it's still there. You see it? You see why that doesn't work? And by ignoring something, that actually that is resistance. That's when you're pushing against something you don't prefer, you don't like, that's resistance. Ignoring it is pushing against it. Ignoring it is not changing the story. It's not changing your perspective on it. It's pushing. So when you ignore, you're actually keeping resistance alive in your experience. So My preferred take on it is view it as the observer. You're the only observer in your reality. From your perspective, you experience your reality. So you observe something happening. You either like it or you don't. Don't fight against it. Don't try to change it out here, because everything starts within, right? So observe it, notice it. Ideally, from an indifferent perspective, which can sometimes be really hard, we react to our reality. It's just the human way, and that's okay. But if you can be as indifferent as possible when you're observing something, indifferent doesn't mean you don't care about it. It just means you've not applied a specific meaning, good or bad, to it, right? Because every circumstance is inherently neutral. We give it meaning once we perceive it. So you observe whatever's showing up, and then you apply a meaning, which usually generates a reaction. So you're either feeling good or bad or neutral about whatever it is you're seeing in your reality. And then once you figure out what it is you're feeling about it, either you like it or you don't, right? Then you decide, this is the most important part. You decide what it means instead to you. You decide the new truth. You decree, command, declare the new story, the new truth, the new experience you prefer, not how it's going to show up, just what. And then you just repeat. Observe, accept, decree, or decide, repeat. Observe, accept, decide, repeat. That's how you maintain what you like in your reality and change what you don't. It's not by ignoring. Ignoring keeps things you don't want around. Okay, so also sometimes people get like not caring about something and ignoring something mixed up. Not caring about something is also still acknowledging that it exists. So from the point of being an indifferent observer, you've not placed any meaning on whatever it is you're seeing. So it's much easier to shift into, oh, this is actually what's true. This is actually the new truth. This is actually what's happening. Even though what I'm seeing seems like this is actually what's happening instead. It becomes much easier to just easily float into your new decree, your new decision of your truth. So I'm just looking at my notes here. So something that happens a lot is you'll observe a circumstance. Let's give an example. You'll observe a circumstance in your reality, and then you'll react to it, and then you'll try to fix it from the point of that reaction, from the perspective of that reaction. So let's use money for an example. Let's say you're feeling really poor or broke or stressed out about money because you noticed that your bank account is low and a bill just came in. Okay, so those two circumstances on their own don't mean anything. They're just an idea, right? But you perceive them in your experience, and to you that equals something bad. Maybe you think it's something permanent. Maybe you think it's something that's hard to change. Maybe you think it's something that's going to lead to more bad things. Those are all labels you are placing on those meaningless circumstances, right? Once you perceive them. Okay, so that's your reaction. So you've observed the circumstance of the bill coming in and you not having enough to pay it. And then you've reacted from that observation, and you've given it a meaning of, this is bad, and this is what's happening, and this is what's true for me in my 3D. Okay, that's right there. You're creating resistance, right? You're declaring that this thing is happening and it's bad, and I'm stuck with it, and I need to figure out a way to fix it. When you catch yourself trying to figure out a way to fix something, try to catch yourself when you're doing that, and just stop and ask yourself, why do I feel like I need to fix this? Why? And the answer is always because it's a problem, because I'm perceiving a problem. The pattern we're trying to break is living constantly from the problem and trying to fix the problem. From there, you want to decide the solution is true now. So you've observed it, you've reacted from the problem. We're going to stop ourselves. We're going to change our story. We're going to start a new mental diet, which equals the solution is here. So you don't even have to know how it's going to be solved. You just got to go to the what. So what's the new what in that scenario? In that scenario, it would be, I always have plenty of money to pay my bills, or this bill is wrong and it's actually lower. Whatever you would prefer, whatever. Ask yourself, what do I actually want to be true? Okay, that's how you know what the what is, and that's how you just decide it. So let's go back to my formula. You observe the circumstance of not having enough money in your bank account to pay a bill. You accept it. Okay, I see this. I don't like it, but I see it. I acknowledge it. I'm not going to let myself feel stuck in this problem or try to figure out how to fix it. I'm instead going to decide, okay, well, I know I thought that stressed me out and that meant that I couldn't pay it, but my new truth, my declaration, my decision is, you know what? The money always comes to me. I always have enough to pay my bills. It's going to be fine. And then you just hang out there anytime you start to think about your original unwanted observation of whatever you were experiencing, the unwanted meaning you gave that experience. Because here's the thing, it's no more true that you're broke and can't afford your bills as it is that you're abundant and have plenty to pay your bills. You're just using your 3D circumstances to prove the truth to you. But that's backwards, because our reality is pushed out through our awareness, through our thoughts, right? It starts here. So if you have a lack mentality when it comes to money, if you have money is a constant struggle, or it's hard to make money, you're starting with those thoughts, that awareness, right? That consciousness, that lack consciousness. So in your reality, everything that you experience related to money is going to reflect back to you lack. You're going to prove to yourself, your circumstances are going to prove your story back to you. You're right. You actually don't have enough. You're right. Here's another bill. You're right. Your bank account's negative. You're right. Until you break the thought pattern, until you break the cycle, until you start observing and choosing a different story, choosing a different decision, just choosing a different end to live from, right? A different perspective. An easier way to think about all of this is your perspective is your power. So whatever's happening in your reality, how you are perceiving it equals your experience in every now moment. In every moment moving forward, your perception is directly related to what you experience in your reality. So how can we change our perspective when all we're seeing is seemingly unwanted circumstances and stuff that's frustrating or stressful? We start observing it, accepting it, and deciding something better is true, regardless of what we see in front of us. That's why we say all the time, circumstances don't matter. The circumstance is not remember, the circumstance is neutral. It's once you perceive it and you decide it's good or bad, or it's permanent or changeable, or it's impossible or not possible, or it's hard or easy. That's all coming from you and your thoughts. So when you change that, your circumstances reflect you. They continuously reflect you. So if your new perspective is anything is possible, nothing is permanent, this is easy, this is fixable, somehow, some way, this is going to work out. Somehow, some way, the money always comes. Somehow, some way, we're getting back in contact. Somehow, some way, our relationship will be mended. Somehow, some way, their body will heal itself. Somehow, some way, the job is mine. You change what you are observing by deciding a new truth about it, not by forcing it out here, not by ignoring it, not by pushing against it, because that's all keeping that meaning true for you. As long as you believe something you don't like is true, it's always going to be true for you, and your circumstances are going to continually prove that back to you. You have to start decreeing, declaring, commanding, deciding a new truth. And you won't believe it at first, guaranteed. I don't think I ever believe a new story the first time I tell myself. Maybe like 10% of the time. Because generally, when you're trying to change your story about something, you've been thinking about something a certain way for a while. So that pattern, that's your default mode of thinking when it comes to circumstances that you perceive are related to that topic. So like I said before in the money example, It's probably going to be pretty hard for somebody to instantly believe that they are abundant and wealthy when they've spent their whole life struggling with money and thinking that money is hard to make and that they can only make so much. And there's only like 1% of the world that's actually ever abundant and everything's too expensive and et cetera, et cetera. And then their circumstances just continue to prove that narrative back to them. So when they start to change their story, it's going to feel totally like a lie. But that's okay. You got to start somewhere. It only takes one thought, and you think instantly, therefore your reality shifts instantly. Maybe you don't see it with your eyes instantly, but don't make that mean it's not true. Don't make that mean it's not happening now. Everything's only happening now because we are only ever always in the present moment. If you're remembering something from the past, you're still remembering it always in the present moment. That's where your power lies. I can choose to dwell on this horrible thing that made me feel stuck from the past and continue to believe that that's the truth and that's the only possibility for me. Or I can decide, I can observe that thought, I can observe the circumstance. I can say, okay, I accept this. That showed up. I thought about it. That I created that showed up in my reality. I co-created it with the universe, with my higher self, with the God within me, however you want to say it. I accept this crappy circumstance. I accept that whatever's showing up is not what I want, and it's here. I'm not going to fight against it. I'm not going to try to solve it. I'm just going to notice it and accept it. But now I'm going to decide something better is true instead. Something better is possible instead. Something better is happening instead, regardless of what's out here. You're not ignoring it. You are denying the truth of it. And it's not like, I know some people say it's being delusional, but it's actually not. It's just choosing to perceive something in a different way. You're choosing to perceive a different truth about it. Let me give another example. So there's this term called being ghosted, right? If you don't know what that is, that just means somebody stopped talking to you, okay? And somebody coined the term of, oh, I've been ghosted. They're not talking to me anymore, so they've ghosted me, which means they've just gone MIA and I never heard from them again, and they just cut off all communication. Here's the thing. The circumstance of someone not responding back to you is meaningless by itself. When you perceive it and put a label on it, that's what pushes out into your experience. That's how you will continue to experience that circumstance moving forward unless you change the meaning. So one person decides, oh, this person stopped talking to me. I've been ghosted. They're never going to talk to me again. I'm not even going to get a reason for it. We're not talking again. I've just been ghosted. So in their experience, that's what they're going to get. Anytime they think about that person, they're thinking to themselves, oh, this person's not talking to me anymore. They're ghosting me. You know, this is just how it is. They blew me off. They're not talking to me anymore. Somebody else could experience not receiving communication back from someone and decide, you know what, they just got busy or something happened. They will reach out to me when they can, you know, as soon as they can. I always hear back from them. They love talking to me. It's totally fine. And guess what? They're going to get that experience with that person. They're not going to experience being ghosted because they have not perceived it that way. They have not labeled it that way. They're not denying what showed up. What showed up was no contact. They're not ignoring the no contact. They're putting a different meaning on it to them. What does no contact mean to you? What does a low bank account mean to you? Does that mean you're forever broke? Does that mean it's permanent? Does that mean money's hard to make? Or does that mean it's temporary, it's a glitch? Or it's temporary, money always comes to me? Or, you know, I have money comes to me in tons of different places. It doesn't matter what that number says. I always have money. It's whatever it means to you is what you're going to push out in your experience. So observe the circumstance and pay attention to the meaning you're giving it after you observe it. If it doesn't match what you want, you got to decide a better meaning. You got to put a different sticky note on it. You got to put a different label on it. That's how you get your circumstances to change in your favor. That's how you get your circumstances to change to align with your preferences. Not by trying to solve the problem out here, not by ignoring it, not by, you know, fighting against it. It's by acknowledging it, accepting it. It's okay if something's not okay, because I'm going to intend that now it's becoming okay. Now it's, you know, if you react, it's okay. It's just How soon can you pull yourself out of that reaction because you're reacting from the perspective of what I don't like is happening in true? How fast can you pull yourself out of that reaction and decide a new, better truth? And then you just let it show up. And anytime you think about that circumstance or it shows up in your face and you catch yourself immediately going back to that old unwanted story and giving it the meaning of, oh, this is bad. This reminds me I'm broke. This reminds me that we're in no contact. This reminds me that person's sick, whatever it is. Hold up. This is just my default mode of thinking. This is my default pattern when it comes to this. I jumped to a conclusion that I don't prefer. I gave something a meaning that I don't prefer. I'm looking at this from a perspective that I don't prefer. I'm not choosing that perspective anymore. I'm choosing a better truth. I'm choosing to perceive this in a better way, from a different perspective, with a different meaning. I'm giving this a different meaning. This is how it is, period, moving on. And then you just go on about your day. So observing it, even if you react after the point of observation, accept it, allow it to be okay, feel whatever feelings you need to feel, and then move on in a new decision. Move forward from the perspective of a new decided truth. Even if you've never experienced that truth before, or you can't figure out how it could possibly happen, I don't care. Doesn't matter. Does not matter. You don't have to worry about that part. You just focus on, this is what's true now. The problem has been solved now. Everything's working out in my favor. Somehow, some way, this all works out for me. Somehow, some way, I'm always abundant. Money always comes to me. Somehow, some way. Give yourself the gift of choosing a better perspective, and you will always end up with better wanted circumstances if you allow it. But by ignoring it, you're just keeping whatever unwanted story, whatever meaning you gave it in the first place, you're just keeping that alive. Because if you don't change your story, you're keeping whatever story you have currently. So if you continue to tell yourself I'm being ghosted, and then you're constantly affirming they're going to reach out, they're going to reach out. No, but they ghost me, but they ghost me. They ghost people. You're going, but you got to pick one, right? Because remember, it's only ever now, and your thoughts are instant. So if in 1 minute you're affirming they're reaching out to me, we're back in contact, but then the whole rest of the night you're saying, they ghost me. There's nothing on my phone yet. They haven't reached out yet. You've just changed your mind. You've just changed your story. You've just changed your perspective. So if you're constantly wavering between two different perspectives or two different truths, they love me not. I'm broke, I'm rich. I'm healthy, I'm sick. They're healthy, they're sick. Jobs are hard to find. Jobs are easy to find. Whatever you say, you're always right. Whatever you say, you're always right from your perspective. You will always experience what you accept as true. So that's why I'm saying in this formula, instead of ignoring the 3D, accept it and decide a new truth. Accept it and decide a new truth. And then just let it be. Just let it be. You don't have to worry about how it shows up. You just let it be. And just repeat that. And at some point, it's going to feel totally natural and possible that what you want is true. And that's amazing. A lot of people will tell you that's how you know your subconscious mind has been impressed, when you feel like it's done, when you know it's done. That Neville Goddard talks about that a lot. But don't even worry about that. Because the point is, because it's only ever now, if you are thinking from your desire in any moment, that's momentum in the right direction. That's your manifestation unfolding. It starts the second you say so. It starts the second you decide the new wanted truth. So just keep always doing that, and you're always going to experience your preferences. You're always going to get your manifestations, because you always experience through your own perspective. Your perspective is your power. What are you going to perceive as true about whatever it is you're trying to manifest? Are you going to keep yourself stuck by deciding something is permanent and unchangeable? Are you going to keep yourself stuck with unwanted circumstances by not allowing yourself to accept it and move through it? Letting go. This is another thing that you hear so much in manifesting. And this is the accept part of my formula in this video. Accepting it is just acknowledging, okay, this is what it is. I accept it. That is the letting go part, because you're not fighting against it anymore. You're acknowledging that it showed up, and then you're deciding something better. You're deciding something different. You're not accepting it and then rehashing it over and over and thinking about it over and over and over again and dwelling in it and feeling bad about it and thinking about all the things that happened that went wrong and all the things you did and said or all the things they did and said or all the reasons why something that, don't get stuck in that part of it. It doesn't have to be hard and it doesn't have to take a long time. If you accept, okay, let's use another example. Let's use an SP example. Let's say you went through a breakup and you really want to, be in a new happy relationship, or you want to reconcile a relationship with a friend or whatever, okay? Acknowledge what's showing up in front, observe what's showing up in front of you. Maybe that's no contact with somebody you care about, okay? Accept it. You know what? This happened. We had a fight. They said this, I said this, they did this, I did this. This made me feel bad. This made them feel bad. They said, accept it. Just acknowledge it, observe it, and accept it. If you need, in that accepting part, to cry about it and feel bad about it, do it. Let yourself, that's the reaction. Let yourself react to it. Let yourself feel those feelings. Get that out. Get that out. You've been thinking about it a certain way, which generates certain feelings. Feelings come from thoughts, right? So let it out. And then, okay, so this happened. All right, I accept it. I felt what I need to feel about it. Now I'm going to decide, it doesn't matter. This is what's true and how it is moving forward. And then you just allow it to show up. But if you continually dwell on, well, there's a third party, or they said they don't want to be with me, or I haven't been able to get a job for weeks and this person said I'm not qualified, or I've never had this much money, so how could I have it? You're just keeping yourself stuck in unwanted circumstances. So observe what's showing up, accept it, let it be, let it go, accept it, acknowledge it. Okay, this showed up. I'm not going to beat myself up over it. I'm not going to dwell on it. I'm not going to hold on to this baggage of whatever this crappy circumstance is for years. And then decide something new and better is true. Declare a better truth. Decree within. So I know we're not talking anymore, but they love me. We love each other. We're good. We're both over it and we're ready to reconnect. We're both over it and we're ready to talk again. They miss me too, and we're going to talk again. We're talking again, okay? Or maybe I've struggled with money in the past, but that's okay. It's just because before I thought it was really hard to make money, but I'm not going to choose that truth anymore. If it's possible for somebody else to make money, I can too. I'm going to choose now to decide it's easy for me to make money. Money comes to me all the time. I don't need to worry about how. It just comes to me. And it's not hard. It's easy. There's plenty of money for everybody. There can be plenty of money for me too. If it's a health thing, maybe somebody got a diagnosis that, or maybe you got a diagnosis, right? So, okay, acknowledge it, accept it, then start, my body, this medicine is really going to help me. This doctor really knows what they're talking about. My body knows how to heal itself. My cells my cells are healthy and I feel better every day. You got to start changing your perspective. You got to start changing what you assume is possible. So at least start there. If nothing else, instead of ignoring the 3D, instead of ignoring the circumstances you don't like in front of you, at least just start with, okay, I see this and I don't like it and it made me feel bad, but something better could happen. Something better is possible. I could still get what I want, even though this is what's showing up. What I want can still happen, even though this is what I see right now. Start there. Go general. Just don't ignore it and push against it, because that's what keeps things that we don't like in our experience. And I want to talk about techniques. Like, there's so many techniques out there. EFT, NLP, meditation, hypnosis, shadow work, scripting, visualizing, all these things. You need to do all these things. Okay. If a technique makes you feel good and helps you to calm your body and your mind, absolutely do it. Absolutely do it. But the only thing you ever need to do to change whatever you're experiencing in your reality, to manifest what you prefer instead of what you don't, is to tell yourself a better story, a wanted story about whatever it is that you're trying to manifest. So another way to say that is, Stop thinking contrary to what you want. Stop telling yourself all the reasons why what you want is not true, all the reasons why you can't have it. Get another way to say that is clean up your mental diet. So think about what I want is possible and true instead of what I don't want keeps showing up and is never going away and is not changeable. So all those techniques, if they help you to quiet your mind and calm your body and calm you down when you're in a place of reacting, absolutely do that. And then all you got to do is just change your story. You just observe, accept, and decide a new truth. That's it. And one thing just that helps me a lot, especially if I catch myself reacting to something, is I just really try as much as possible to be present, to be in the present moment, and to notice when I'm perceiving something that makes me feel bad, and just try to shut it down. Even if I can't think of what I would prefer to experience in that moment, just notice it. Okay, I see this. I don't really like that. Something better is possible. Okay, everything's going to work out okay. I keep a general affirmation in my mind and I try to stay present, because the other thing is when you're focused on the present moment, it's really hard to be worrying about the future or feeling bad about the past, because you're actively engaged in your immediate experience. So the more present you are, the more you're able to enjoy what's in front of you, and the less time you're going to spend telling your old story, right? Because you're focusing on what's in front of you. You're not focusing on, oh, what I felt bad about for the last 10 years, or what hasn't changed in my life yet, or what person hasn't called. You're experiencing what's in front of you. So if all else fails, just try to focus on the present moment. What can I think of? What's in my current present experience right now in front of me? Maybe it's your cat, pet your cat. Maybe it's you're in the presence of your family. Like, instead of being lost in your thoughts, be present. Enjoy the people that are in front of you. Maybe it's looking at beautiful sunset. Enjoy the sunset. Catch yourself if you're getting lost in an old story or feeling bad or worrying. Nope. Look at this beautiful sunset. Look at my hands. Look at my toe. Tap your feet on the ground. Feel the ground. Be present. Be in the now. Okay. And then from there, observe, accept, and decide a new truth. Okay. And I just want to remind you too, you don't have to believe every thought you have. Just because a thought pops in your mind, you don't have to believe it. So maybe you've experienced something you don't like with an SP. Okay. That's no more true. Whatever story you have that you don't like about SP is no more true than the wanted story that you want to experience. You're just choosing to believe in the unwanted story. You're choosing to perceive that this is the truth, the only truth, and it's not changeable. Stop doing that. You always have a choice. No thing, no circumstance, no idea is more true. It's just, what are you going to choose is true for you? What are you going to choose to perceive as true? That's where your power lies. That's why your perception is your power, because whatever you assume to be true pushes out in your experience. So there's nothing outside of you that's deciding you can have this, you can't have this. This thing is more possible for you. This thing is less possible for you. You're the only decider. So what are you going to decide now? Observe your circumstances, accept where you're at, accept what showed up, decide something better is true. That's it. That's all you have to do. So practice that. Practice just sitting back and observing and being okay with it. It doesn't mean you have to like it. It doesn't mean you have to love it. It doesn't mean you're stuck with it. But acknowledging it and accepting, okay, this showed up. That makes it so much easier to move through it and decide something better is true, instead of ignoring it and pushing it away and trying to fight against it. Okay. And I also just want to remind you that just because you see something in your 3D, that's not evidence of what is. It's whatever you perceive it to be. So don't take everything at face value. If the initial meaning you're giving it is bad, just because something means something to somebody, it doesn't mean it has to mean that to you. Just like I gave the ghosting example. Don't make it mean that. What am I making this mean right now? What am I making the circumstance mean right now? And even if I made it mean something bad, am I going to continue to hang out there, or am I going to decide something better is possible and true and happening now? Okay, so just to recap, instead of ignoring the 3D, observe what's showing up, accept it, and then decide something better is true. And that's it. With conviction, with a calm conviction, this is what's true instead. Maybe I thought that's what was true before. Okay, cool. I'm not going to agree with that anymore. This is what's true. This is what's possible. This is what's happening instead. And then just live your life and be present in the now and watch how your reality changes. And if you've done this, put in the comments how it's worked out for you. Tell me once you start just doing this quick little formula as much as you can throughout your day. Tell me how something showed up. Like what circumstance shifted for you when you started thinking about it this way, when you started thinking about your reality this way, because that really helps everybody in the community. And I would love to read about it as well. So please put your successes in the comments. Also, if there's any videos you want to see, put that in the comments. I intend this video helped you. I intend you have an amazing week ahead, and I'll see you in the next one.